What's up, guys? It is Sunday, so we're going to continue on through the CD collection. I've literally just rolled out of bed. I know I look like hot trash, but if it doesn't bother me, it's not going to bother you. We're just going to continue going on through this. I think we're on part 93, either 92 or 93. Still in the L section. Starting off with a band out of my home state here in Tennessee. This is Loss with their debut demo entitled Life Without Hope, Death Without Reason. I think this was originally released in 2005. This is the Deathgasm Records. I'm pretty sure this is a reissue. I'm not quite sure when this particular version was released. Pretty solid demo, definitely for a debut. Funeral doom, death metal, killer stuff. The follow-up full length to this was phenomenal as well. I believe it was called Despond. Fortunately, I don't own that one. I do own their latest full length that was put out through Profound Lore Records. This one is entitled Horizonless, and I absolutely love this one. Amazing record. If you haven't checked out Loss and you're into funeral doom and you're into doom death, definitely check this band out. I think you will dig it. If you're watching this channel, I'm sure you're at least somewhat familiar with this project anyway, but on the off chance that you haven't heard Loss, that one I do highly recommend that you check out. Next up, we have some depressive black metal. This is a band called Lost Inside. This is a pretty interesting project. It is depressive black metal. It's made up of one main member. Cold, I believe, is what he goes by. And there's a different vocalist on every release that this band puts out. Cold does all the instrumentation, all the composition, and brings in a guest vocalist for each release. Pretty good, kind of ambient, depressive black metal. Not recreating anything. There's nothing groundbreaking from the genre in any of the releases from Lost Inside. This was my introduction to the band. This one is entitled Cold Days. Probably my favorite release from the project, but I enjoy everything that they've done. They released a lot of material in a very short period of time. I think from like 2009 to 2011, there were 4 full lengths and some demos and all kinds of stuff. But I have enjoyed pretty much everything that I've heard. Next up, we have the, let's see, man, I'm getting old. It's getting harder to read the small print on some of these. Morning Wept Beside Me is the name of this release. As you can just tell from that artwork, that just screams depressive black metal to me. This one was released through Dust Tone. I think this is one of the 2011 releases. There were actually 2 2011 full lengths from this band. We had this one, and then the follow up to that entitled Hearts Will Grow Heavy. I like this one too. I thought the vocalizations on this particular release were very strong, especially in comparison to some of the others. But I still think the introduction album, I had the Cold Days. I think that's my favorite from the project. So there we go. Next up, we have some ambient atmospheric black metal out of Russia. This is the only release I think that this band has put out. This is a band called The Lost Sun, and this is Spectral Voice from a Newborn Star. I absolutely love this. It popped up back when atmospheric black metal albums was so big on YouTube. It just popped up one day. I had the autoplay going on YouTube. I watched the video and this came on, and I was just kind of glued to listening to it, and I ended up listening to it in its entirety, and then I had to hunt down a physical copy, and it was pretty hard to find a physical copy then. When this released, it's been out for quite some time now, so I'm sure it's even harder to find physical copies now. I don't see the date on it or anything. This may have been self-released from the band. Maybe that's why it was so hard to find a physical copy, but I'm glad I did. I still love this album to this day. Just spacey themed Russian atmospheric black metal, very ambient atmospheric black metal, but I really do dig this one. You guys know I love me some Russian atmospheric black metal anyway, so that definitely fits the bill for things that I do enjoy. Next up, we have a pagan black metal band out of, I believe this band is out of Spain. This is Los Regos, I believe is how you pronounce that, and I cannot pronounce, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that release name down there. This is their debut EP. Very solid, kind of melodic style pagan black metal. I enjoy this quite a bit. There are two full lengths that have come out after this that I do not own from this band. At some point, I would like to kind of add some more of their material into my collection, especially if it sounds anything like this debut EP, because this one is pretty stellar. Next up, we have a band that, with their name, you wouldn't expect them to sound the way that they do. The name of this band is Love History, and the name of this release is Anasazi. This is like doom death, very kind of atmospheric doom death. It has like dueling male and female vocals going on this throughout it. I think it really works as far as the soundscapes on this. I believe this is out of Czechia, and I just dig this. I love it much more than I anticipated. I'm not even sure how I came to listen to this. I did not get this in a grab bag. I remember purchasing this being a standalone purchase. It came out back in 2000 through the N Records, so I mean it's been out for quite some time. But I saw it, and I'm not sure what led me to listen to this, because that just, looking at that looks like some cheesy 80s or something, like pop rock or whatever. So I'm not sure what actually led me to check that out, but I'm very glad that I did, because that is a stellar release there. Speaking of like 80s pop rock sounding stuff, this is a band called Love Child with their release. I believe it's their only release, entitled Soul Collector. This has like a very, I mean, it's like traditional heavy metal. It has almost a glammy feel to the music. It's kind of like that ballad style of metal. Not terrible. I got this one in a bulk purchase, and I mean I did enjoy it enough to keep it in the collection. So I mean that should say something for it. But kind of what I would have expected this to sound like, and this blew me away. This is okay. I mean when the mood hits, that kind of works, but it's not something that I'm going to pull off the shelf that often. Next up, this is another kind of has a very 80s hard rock, 80s heavy metal feel going on. This is Lovel's Blade with Stone Cold Steel. Pretty solid. I do like this. Very melodic sounding. It says classic metal right there on the back, and I mean that's very fitting for this. Very guitar driven. Very, I guess, the melodic guitar driven. I mean, it's very catchy stuff, but pretty good release there from Lovel's Blade. Next up, we have some stabbyhamlet metal. This is Lucifer with their debut full-length entitled Indulge in the Macabre. Killer old school death metal here. Released in 1996, self-released from the band. Get your hands on this if you can get a copy. I believe it was recently reissued, which is awesome because it had gotten a little expensive and hard to find. You can go to stabbyhamlet.com and see if they still have copies in stock. I know it recently got a cassette reissue as well, so for you tape collectors, but I definitely recommend you pick this one up. It's just some killer old school death metal, and I enjoy that one quite a bit. I have the follow-up EP. I say follow-up, it came out I think like 9 years later. This is As Evil As Me. I do enjoy the full length a bit more, but this EP still is solid. It's only 3 tracks, but nice little follow-up EP to that. They released a full-length last year. I believe it only had a digital release. It came out in October. If there's ever a physical, or if there is a physical release of that one, somebody let me know. It came out right about the time that I just disappeared off of social media and kind of had my little breakdown there, so I didn't really get to talk about that one. But it was a decent full length that they released last year, and I would like to see that on a physical release at some point. Next up, we have some more black metal. This is Lugnassad with Smell of a Grey Sore. I believe this band is out of France. It's the only release that they ever put out, but this is some pretty evil sounding, very dark sounding black metal. I wish this project would have released some more. I would have liked to, I mean, just look at that artwork. I mean, you kind of get the feel of what you're getting there. I mean, it's just death worship going on. I would have liked to hear where this band kind of moved on from this. I was very intrigued by this album. I think it came out around 2010, but it unfortunately was the only release that they ever put out. Next up, we have some death thrash. Has some very evil blackened themes going on, but it's mainly just like thrashy death metal. Features a couple of members from Evil Incarnate. I know Mike is in this project, and it is some awesome stuff. I believe Pat and Mike from Evil Incarnate, kind of a little side project from those guys. This is Luna and Sanguinum with Global Bloodbath. Nasty stuff. I mean, you guys know that Evil Incarnate has that very just demonic sound to it, and it's kind of, I think maybe just because of Mike's vocal approach and stuff, he's so good at what he does as far as those grunts and just kind of the demonic sounding growls, and it bleeds into Luna and Sanguinum as well. I mean, you just have this hate-driven evil sound going on there, and I really like it. So next up, we have a melodic death metal band out of Italy. This is Lunar C with their debut album entitled Hydrodynamic Wave. This was originally released around 2005, 2006. This is the Punishment 18 release that was put out in 2012. Lunar C is solid. If you're into melodeath, you will probably like this band. They kind of have a Swedish sound going on. They remind me a lot of kind of mid 2000s era In Flames as well. Has a hint of that early In Flames sound going on. I mean, it even has, I mean, with the band name and that debut artwork, I get like Lunar Strain vibes, which is early In Flames, but sound-wise, I mean, they wear their influences on their sleeve. You can definitely feel the In Flames influence going on, and I would dare to say some of the Lunar C material is better than the latter era In Flames material. So if you're into melodeath, you probably already know Lunar C, but if you don't, that's a new band for you to check out. Just some pretty solid melodeath out of Italy there. Let me take a swig, and we will continue marching on through this stack. Next up, we have some folk metal. This is a band called Lunarium, and I dig this release quite a bit. It's just a self-titled release. They had a full length that came out, I think, in 2006. This was released in 2008. I'm assuming this is a compilation of the band's material. This has 15 tracks. A lot of the tracks from that full length in 2006 are on this particular release. There's some of those full length tracks missing, and then there's some other tracks that I'm not sure where they come from on this release. So and I can't find much information about this whatsoever. It's just kind of Celtic folk metal. I believe that this band they're out of the U.S. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe Ohio. Lots of metal comes out of Ohio, so that's a good guess anyway. But it's solid. I really like this. I'd like to know a little bit more about this project, and in particular this particular release, just because it's so hard to find anything on it. But a good slab of folk metal there. Here we have some more Death Doom. This one has some blackened influences going on. Gets very atmospheric at times. This is Lunatic Gods with their full length entitled Mythos. This was like a dead middle in their discography release, and I'm not really sure where I got this one. I'm pretty positive I got this in a grab bag somewhere along the way. Seems like a good guess as to where I got it. I mean, it's very plausible. This is another band out of Slovakia. Pretty good. I like this. I would like to. I remember listening to this and thinking to myself that I'd like to delve a little deeper into this band's discography, and then it just kind of got put on the shelf. Sometimes that, especially when you have a big collection like mine, the CD shelves just become like a void, and when something gets on there, it gets forgotten for a little bit. I try my hardest to go through and not neglect the CD collection that much, and pull out stuff that I haven't listened to in a while and throw it in like at the mix and in the rotation, so I'm not just listening to new stuff coming in. But even so, with the collection as big as mine is, stuff just kind of gets shelved and forgot about, unfortunately, from time to time. Next up, we have some symphonic metal. This is Lunatica with I think this is their last full length, entitled New Shores. Came out in 2009 on Napalm Records. It's okay. I mean, it's a band. It's Swiss symphonic metal. It's pretty run of the mill symphonic metal. I got this in a lot of. Well, it was kind of a purchase with some other Napalm Records releases. This was probably my least favorite of the ones that were in that purchase that I made. But it's not terrible. It is just it's just kind of there though. Next up, we have Lupara. I really dig this release. This came out, I think, in 2006. It is the self-titled. It's the only full-length that this project ever put out. It features a couple of the members from Broken Hope. It was kind of a side project they put together. Very groove metal sound going on. It has death metal vibes with the members that they have in this project. You're going to obviously have those death metal nuances going on, but I would completely label this as groove metal. I dig it. If you don't like groove metal, you're not going to like this, but I did dig this release quite a bit. Next up, we have some more Death Doom. This is Lurk with Caldera, I believe is how you pronounce that. Very atmospheric on this one as well. I got this in a bulk lot, and this may have come from a Relapse grab bag that I did back when Relapse was putting decent stuff in their grab bags. The last couple I've gotten from Relapse have not been very good at all, but this Lurk release is pretty solid. Just very atmospheric style of kind of sludgy style of doom death. Good stuff there. Next up, we have some horror punk. This is the Lurking Corpses with Working for the Devil. Pretty fun release. I got this on one of those Hell's Headbangers where you could get so many CDs for a certain price. This one was kind of a blind buy. I was kind of trying to fill up. It was like 10 CDs for so much money, and I was trying to round out that order there. Threw this one in, and I wasn't let down with it or anything. I mean, it's a pretty fun album. If you're into horror themed punk, you would probably dig this. That's the best way I know to describe it. It's a fun release. It's just horror themed and a good kind of Halloween horror punk album there. Something with the lurking in the band name must have that horror punk vibe going on, because this is one that I recently got in that Razorback Records haul that I did the video for not too terribly long ago. This is Lurking Evil with the Almighty Hordes of the Undead. This was released in, I think, 2014. The only full length that this band ever put out. This is more kind of horror punk, but this has a more of a almost like a black and thrash sound going on. One interesting thing about this album is there's no triggers on the drums, so it has like this this almost nostalgic feel to the sound, if that makes any sense. It has a very throwback heavy metal production sound going on, and the drums, I think, have a lot to do with that. So a pretty decent release there from Lurking Evil. Next up, we have The Lurking Fear with Out of the Voiceless Grave. Went blank on that album title. This was released through Century Media Records. Pretty solid slab of death metal, kind of Lovecraftian themed death metal out of Sweden. Century Media kind of hit it out of the park with this one. I don't like the packaging on it, but the music is what matters, and it's a pretty solid release. They have one other full length that came out after that I don't have. At some point, I would like to get that one into the collection as well. Next up, we have some depressive black metal, kind of atmospheric depressive black metal. This is Luster with Night Spirit. This is their debut EP, I guess, debut demo. They put out quite a bit after this. It's a band that I haven't really just got into that much. I know some people are more into this project than I particularly am, but Night Spirit was a good starting point. Not very abrasive most of the time, very repetitive sounding, but it is, for me, this is some good mood music. This is some good something to have going in the background that's not going to distract me too much when I have some other stuff going on, and for that, it definitely serves its purpose in the collection. Next up, we have a band out of Spain, I believe. This is Lux Davina with From the Tomb to Nature's Blood. Very solid, nature-driven black metal. Dig this one quite a bit. It gets a bit atmospheric at times. This was released on Ars Magna Recordings back in 2009. So pretty much when I was really getting into this style of black metal, this was right there in the forefront for me to pick up, and I still like this album. I kind of got a bad rep when it was released. There was a lot of people that didn't really like that one, but I dig that one quite a bit. Next up, we have some melodic black metal out of Brazil. This is Luxuria De Lilith with Lilithus. The artwork what led me to check this out. I purchased this off of Paragon Records not too terribly long ago. It's probably about a year or so ago that I picked this one up. I think this was in the big stack that I picked up right before I moved, and I had a box of stuff from Paragon that was just traveling everywhere in the car with me because all of my other stuff was packed up, and this one was in that particular box. Pretty good. I mean, it's decent. I like the artwork on it. I think a little bit more than I like the actual album, but the album itself is pretty solid. I don't really have any complaints on it. Next up, a band that I absolutely love. This is Lucifer with their full length entitled Sun Eater. This is my favorite release from this band, but I haven't heard anything from Lucifer that I don't like, and that goes like any particular track. I haven't heard anything from them that I just don't like, and I'm going to have to expand on this discography because I only own 2 releases, and I really like both of them that I own. Sun Eater is my favorite killer full length I put out through Dark Descent. I have the follow-up EP to that entitled Sacrament, and that one is solid as well. Unfortunately, that's all I own from Lucifer, so I definitely need to get on the ball and picking up some more of their material. There we go. Next up, we have some Black and Death out of Russia. This is the Canthropy with Dead Silence. This is just a 4-track EP, but has an intro and an outro. So really 2-track EP. Not bad. Very abrasive sounding. This was released through Metallic Media. I believe I got this in one of those grab bag type deals that I did. I did all kinds of stuff like that from Metallic Media, and I'm pretty sure that's where that one came from. And then we started this portion of the collection off with some Funeral Doom Death, and that's what we're going to finish it with. This is Lycus with their last full length that they've put out entitled Chasms. This is another release that I got from Relapse Records when they were doing the the very good grab bags before they kind of fell off with those. Very solid project out of California. I really dig this. I want to check out some more of their other material as well. Seems like I've said that quite a bit in this particular portion of the collection. That's all for this week as far as those goes. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to do collection update videos. I've been saying that for like 2 weeks. I mean, right now, this is where my heart is doing the city collection. But if I get around to doing updates, I will do them. That's all for today. Hope you guys have a great week. Stay classy, stay metal, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys soon. I promise.